Welcome to this new lesson. Our lesson today is about speech recognition with Whisper. So what is Whisper? Whisper is a trained open source neural network that approaches human level robustness and accuracy on English speak recognition. So Whisper is an open source model, but it has been made available via OpenAI with some added value. The OpenAI provides two endpoints: transcription, which transcribe in many languages like English to English, German to German, Spanish to Spanish. A translation, which does the transcribe in many languages and then translate the result. So you may have a German audio, you get it transcribed by Whisper, and then the result will be translated to English. Of course, the destination language always have to be in English. So now we will create a new controller. We will create two endpoints in it, one for transcription and one for translation. So if we go to Visual Studio Code, if you go to controllers, then I will create a new file. I will call it audio controller. It is, of course, a JavaScript file. Okay, now in the audio controller, the first thing to do will be to include the config file for OpenAI. So this is the first thing. I am adding this. Also, I know that we will require two additional packages. One of them is the file system and the other one is the Axios. So I am also importing them now. Then we will create a new method. It's called generate transcription. This method will take an audio file and it will transcribe this file. Okay, let me leave some space here. Also at the bottom, so I don't forget, I will export these lines. So I'll go to the end. Okay, then I'll go back inside the function. I will create the method, or add the method create transcription. Of course, we have a wait because it is asynchronous. It takes some time. That's why the method has to be async, because of the await call. Okay, so this method takes two parameters. The first parameter is the file, the audio file that you need to transcribe. So here in the function, I am getting the audio file, and then I'm creating a read stream from audio file using the file system package, which I have declared. Then we have another parameter, which is the name of the model, and the only name of the model available until now is Whisper-1. Okay, so all what we'll be doing here is just I am going to console log. Transcript is the return back. It has a data object, and inside that it has a text. Okay, let's create the translation function as well. It is very similar. So first I am introducing the new method generate translation. As usual, it is asynchronous and it gets a file. Now then we'll be calling create translation. This is create transcription, this is create translation, and that's the only difference between the two methods. So if we go to the first parameter, you see that we are getting the audio file and we read it to a file system stream. And the second parameter is Whisper, which is the name Whisper-1, which is the name of the model. And what we do only now is that we console log the translation text. Okay, to test I will bring some audio files. So let me create a new folder. It's called audio. In this folder I will bring some files. So you can see them here. RR, it is in English, German, and this is, I think, in Arabic. So let me show you the English file, or listen to the English file.
We welcome change and openness, for we believe that freedom and security go together, that the advance of human liberty can only strengthen the cause of world peace. There is one sign the Soviets can make that would be unmistakable, that would advance dramatically the cause of freedom and peace. General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Okay, so this is the audio file that we are going to transcribe. Let me close the file. Let me go to the playground. And here I add this comments for audio. Then I am going to call the first method that we did. So here, this is the call. Of course, we should not forget to add the import to the controller, to the audio controller, and we are here declaring this. Okay, I think we are fine. We should be able to test the transcription. Let me start the Node app. Okay, so it should be now transcribing. Okay, so this is the result. We will come change and open it. Okay, then let's comment this out and make a call to translation. Again, the audio is in German. Let me start again. So yes, now it is translating. Okay, so you can see here, this is the English translation for that German audio. Okay, so that's for our application. Now we will turn it to a REST API and we will develop a front-end application. Okay, so let's first go to the app.js and add the roots and the import. So go to app.js. At the very top, we need to add import for the audio controller for both endpoints. Then we will at the bottom create two roots. Here is the first root. It's OpenAI intro underscore audio transcribe, and this is the controller method. We will modify it to take request and response. Then again we are creating a route for audio translation this time. Okay, let's go to the audio controller now. So here's the audio controller. First, I will add a utility method because when we develop the web application, we will send the file in the JSON object with a certain key. So it will be base 64 encoded. So here I just want to add a utility method that decode base 64. So if I add this, okay, so you see here I have saved decoded audio. It takes the JSON data and it takes the file name. Then it reads the data. Then use the buffer to restore the value of the text from base 64 encoding. And then here we have this file system, right? So we write to the file that has been passed to us the audio buffer and we return the file name. Okay, let's now go up and see what are the changes. First, we will change the input. Now it will be the request response. Then we will do call the decode audio method. So this is the method call. So now we get the request. The request contains a body, and the body contains a key, which is audio file. Now we also pass the file that we want to save to. So this is the first part. The second part will be to return the response. As you can see here, I commented this out. I returned the response. Status is 200 successful. And I have a JSON object, a key which is text, and the body, the return text from the Transcribe API. Okay, so here we do the same thing. We change these parameters to request and response. Then we call the decode audio function. As you can see here, again, the request body contains audio file and this. Now we need to return the response instead of printing it to the console. So here you can see that we have this. So it looks to me that now our API is complete. Of course, I will go back here. I will start the Express server, and yes, it looks that things are working fine. Okay, so now we will be building the front-end web page. We will use ChatGPT to generate it for us. So as usual, I will open Word document and type the prompt. Of course, the prompt is ready, but I will review it with you, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it will work the last time. In fact, this prompt in particular, last time didn't work for me first time. So we will see what we will get. So first we set the expectation, a web developer, then tell him that he needs to build a front end, use CSS library, vanilla JavaScript, content dev, background of the body, and another background for the content dev. You need to create a header, logo.png. The page then includes a form that collects the audio file, only MP3, and a checkbox to translate, by default uncheck, and submit. So we will have a file picker and a checkbox to say it is transcripting or translation. Now below the form there is a div that contains the returned output. Okay, here is the important paragraph. When the submit button is clicked on the form, a JavaScript code shall read the selected audio file and the translate checkbox from the form and encode the audio file using base64 encoding and call the following API, this transcribe API, if translation box is not selected, and the following API, which is translation, if translation checkbox is selected. Then and in both cases pass the encoded audio in the body as JSON with a key of audio underscore file. That's because if we look in the controller, you can see here in the controller we are expecting audio file in the body. Okay, so during the API call, show a spinner and disable the checkboxes and the audio file control. When the API is returned, it has a JSON object that has a key, which is text, which shall update the display div below the form. Please include all this in audio.html. So this is what I have designed, and as I said, it doesn't have to work the first time correctly. This one didn't work for me the first time correctly. So, okay, let me copy it. I'll go back to ChatGPT. I'll put this. So let me hide this. Okay, so this is the page. It looks good. Okay, let me copy. Now I will go to Visual Studio Code. I'll go to public. Then I will create a new file. I'll call it audio.html. Okay, I'll paste the text. I'll save. It looks good for me, but we shall see. Okay, so now let's go to the browser and let's open. This is the chat completion, so we need the audio. Audio.html. Let's open it. So this is the file that it has created for us. The title, audio transcription and translation. Note that I never told him that this header. He just found it from the context that I provided. Select audio file only MP3. So let's choose. If we go to audio, this is the same text that we transcribed before. So let me transcribe this. I'll do submit. Okay, it looks to me that something went wrong. Let me see what's the problem. Okay, let's first check if there is an error on the server. It doesn't seem that there is an error on the server. I will tell ChatGPT that this happened, but I want to just do a quick look on the code. Okay, so I don't see response data. Where is this data used? Output dev text content. Okay, so I'll tell ChatGPT what happened. The application seems to have called the API correctly, but the result doesn't display on the web page. And I need guys to check just one thing to make sure that we do actually return text. So yes, we do return text. So let's see what ChatGPT will tell me. So it's telling me that it made an error, and that's correct, guys. It does make errors between time and another, and you have to follow up. Let's hear it's telling us apologies for the oversight. The issue can be fixed by updating the line which set text content of the output audio inside the fetch success block. Instead, the text content we should set the inner HTML. So instead of text content, it should use the inner HTML. I'll just copy all of that. I'll come here to the HTML file. I will just replace it. Sometimes it gives you the place to just modify, or you can modify the entire thing. Okay, let's come back here. Refresh. So I refresh now. Again. Okay, so I'm still getting the same problem. I looked at the code myself, and the code looks okay to me when it updates the container. So it seems that the container, the output dev, is not visible. So I will tell him that. So I'll tell him the returned text is fine. It seems that dev is not visible. So let's see what. Okay, let's see what he is saying here. Apologies, the issue might be the display none style is preventing the output. So let's see this. Okay, let's try again. I need to refresh first. Okay, that worked. So you saw, guys, ChatGPT is good, but it is not super. It can get things right, and sometimes it can get things wrong. So we still made a lot of use from ChatGPT. All the applications so far worked for us. But for this, for example, in particular, we have to look at the code, and even we have to get it to give him hint. So the fact that this was invisible, it was a hint from me, it didn't find it. Let's do another one for the German with translate. Okay, so here you see that translation. So that concludes our lesson about Whisper.